This is Preston Jane. Welcome to Two Cents. Again, we converge here to educate each other. We converge here to inform and entertain. We converge here to share our thoughts. I am sharing my 2 cents. Share yours in the comment section. Like, comment, click the bell notification button, and remember to subscribe. Now, the Gen Z of Kenya and the millennials have been leading a campaign. The onslaught has been very serious, and for 2 weeks plus, they have been agitating for issues they want addressed. First of all, it was the rejection of the finance bill in totality, of which the president and the government had to bend to their whims. In short, the tail wagged the dog. That is what the political elites think, but here it is the dog that finally wagged the tail. The dog being the Mwananchi, the voters, the people. These people have been making demands. They've made lots and lots of demands. One of them was the government to reduce the spending. The wage bill is very high. It's always ballooning, and they said we need austerity measures. We need to cut on the government expenditure, and that is cutting the size of the government. The president has had yesterday, that is Thursday, the 4th of July, the government met, the cabinet met, and there is talk of the cabinet being sliced from 22 to 15. So we are going to lose 7 cabinet secretaries. People are going to face the axe. I don't know if it is a case of heads rolling for underperforming, or I don't know what criteria the president is going to use to lay off these people. Now, quickly, I've been looking at some of the parameters that the president is going to use to lay off these people. The most notable is the president is going to look at regional balance. You know, in Kenya, we are balkanized in some tribal cocoons. In some regions, we have 8 major regions, and from these 8 major regions, we have tribes coming from these regions. And anytime any appointment is being made in the country, then the appointing authority has to look at regional balance. There must be a representation of the Kenyan look, which is the major tribes. We only have 22 cabinet slots, but they're going to be reduced to 15, which means the president has to assign at least each region 1.8, that is close to 1.8 slots. So we are talking about a region will get 1. There is a region that will get 1, and some regions will get 2. I was looking at how regional balance plays when the president is now reassigning dockets to his close allies who are going to make the next cabinet. So I was looking at the people who are safe here. We have Mvuria. Mvuria is representing the coast region. I think Mvuria is sitting pretty, and he might not be dropped out. I'm looking at, if we are talking about regional balance, there is Duale representing the northeastern region. There are not many in the cabinet from his region. Then Duale is safe, and remember also Duale is a close confidant of the president. Remember from the first time when they're walking out of the ODM and they're making the URP party. So I don't think Duale is sitting pretty. We have Mutua representing the east, the Kamba region, the eastern region, and from those people who are representing eastern, I think Mutua is one of those guys who stands out as one of the most competent people. This guy has experience as a person who's well studied, a person with exposure, and also a person who has some political experience, because again, running a government, we need politics, and also we need academic credentials to come in. Also, we have Owalo. Owalo is representing the Nyanza region, which is part of the Western, but just say Nyanza region. Then Owalo is there's Owalo and Machogu, but you see again the Luos are very is a very big tribe, so you can't say a Luo is going to be dropped. So I think Owalo is going to still remain in this parliament, with not in this cabinet. We don't know which docket is going to be given. Maybe he might just still retain the ICT and information communication docket, but we wait to see. Then the president has to factor in gender balance. Our constitution provides for at least two-thirds gender rule, whereby if we have two-thirds of women, there must be a third men. If we have two-thirds men, there must be a third of women. So however much the president is going to be having a very huge task trying to balance and issue out this cabinet CS positions to his allies, he has to factor in, I have to have women who are retaining some of these positions so that we meet the constitutional threshold of having two-thirds representation in any appointment from either gender. After that, we are going to look at proximity to the presidency. We are looking at who are the close allies of the presidency, who are the close allies of the president especially, and the deputy president. But mostly we are going to look at who are the close allies of the president. But remember, UDA or Kenya Kwanza, say UDA is like a marriage of two people, two huge regions. And again, our politics is a balkanization of regions, a balkanization of tribes. So we are going to look at the DP representing the Kikuyus, the president representing the Kalenjins. These people, when forming UDA, came with their allies, came with people who back them from their backyard. That is, people from their tribes. And we have those people who are so close to them. So when the president is going to cut 7 people out of these 22 to remain with 15, he's going to look at who is the closest to me and who is the most distant to me. So those most distant are going to go. And I'm looking at the president has very close people. We have the Kinachelugui, we have Rotich, we have Murkomen. After the runs that we saw from Rigiji, we are looking at a presidency that is divided, and Rigiji right now has lost the upper hand and it's no longer 50-50 venture right now. So most of the people who are going to be dropped who lack proximity to the presidency are going to be on the Rigiji side. And hey, you've all seen what has been playing out on X, you've all seen what has been playing out in public, especially when we had the demos and Rigiji had to give a statement immediately after the president had released his statement, and Rigiji was like trying to lament and say he's been thrown out of government and is being overlooked. He's not participating in government decisions and all that. In short, he was announcing a fallout publicly between him and the president, so to say. And remember, there was a very notable figure in government, that is in the cabinet, that is one Moses Kuria, who came out and really attacked Rigiji. So I'm looking at if the president and the deputy president are sitting down together and they're talking about who are we going to cut from your side, Mr. President? Who are you going to cut off from your side, Mr. DP? Who are you going to cut off? I'm sure if Rigiji is asked, the first person and the first name he's going to propose will be Moses Kuria, for the sole reason that Moses Kuria has been attacking this guy, and he even has hinted that Rigiji is going to be impeached. We are looking at relevance of ministries. There are 22 ministries. From these 22 ministries, 5 are going to be dropped. So we are looking at which ministry can easily merge with another ministry, and the workload to the person who the new occupier of this docket is not that much. So we are looking at gender, sports, arts, and all these ministries being put together. We are looking at irrigation, water, sanitation, health. The president and the people, his advisors, will have to imagine and think hard which ministries are we going to put together so that we form one. So we have 7 ministries that are going to be broken. Then we are going to look at who invested what in the 2022 campaigns. Remember, the Kenya Kwanza campaign machine was very heavy. These are people who moved around a lot. These are people who started campaigning immediately the 2017 general election was over and the new government was sworn in. So we had like 5 years of campaigning. Even to now, we still have campaigns and we still have people who are maneuvering, who are hovering around the country, flying over, just trying to sell the president's agenda, both in the in parliament and also in the cabinet. So we are looking at who invested what in the 2022 campaign, how much money and effort was brought in, so that that led to the government clinching power, led to the government winning the election. So if there is a CS that really played a huge role, people like Murkomen, we are talking about people like Rotich, Alice Wahome. These are people who really stood with the DP from day one to the last day until he became president. So we are talking of some of the people, the notable names that are safe are these people who really campaigned with the DP, with the president when he was DP to the time he becomes president, and how much was brought in. Remember, everyone was talking about this presidency or this government being a shareholders government, and people were thinking, oh, people brought in their money to run the campaign, and also the president has appointed these people to power because they really invested money in this campaign. So the investors, the huge investors, are going to be retained in the cabinet, and those who brought in very little or are just in government for the virtue of we are trying to do gender balance, or we are trying to do a regional balance, and then or tribal balance, and then sadly they are going to be out. And then we are talking about an occupier of cabinet who is a minister without portfolio. That is what the previous government used to call it. We have Cleophas Malala, who sits in cabinet. It is a president that was picked from Uhuru Kenyatta when we had Rafael Tuju, and then Secretary General of Jubilee sitting in cabinet. So Cleophas Malala having no duties to run and just sitting in cabinet because he's the SG of the ruling party UDA, then I see him losing his seat in cabinet, or maybe he might continue enjoying tea in State House and sitting with the big people, with the president, discussing national matters, making decisions without a portfolio, without pay, without security, without all the benefits that comes with that ministry, because the essence of cutting these ministries is to cut on the cost of sustaining these ministries and the bearers of this office. And then all that said, there are things that sadly we have to factor in, that they are not going to change. Yes, we are going to have a trimmed cabinet. We are going to have 15 from 22, 7 gone. We are going to have fewer people needing bodyguards, fewer people needing guzzlers to move around. Okay, we just have guzzlers that are going to lack flags because ministers have flags on the guzzlers. But are these people going anywhere? Remember, these are allies and cronies and confidants to the president and the DP. These are people who really have invested in the political journey of the president. These are people who really invested in this government. These are people who really are part of this government. So we are talking about people who, after being cut from cabinet, they'll simply ask the president, where are we going and how do we get rewarded for our efforts of making you president, or for making this government come to power. So sadly, the The president is going to be put in a precarious state, and the president is going to create positions for these people. Yes, these people are going to be rewarded with positions elsewhere. There might be ambassadorial, there might be maybe lead some parastatal somewhere. There are jobs that will come. There are jobs that will come, and these people will still remain in power. We are talking about spending less on government officials, on cabinet, blah, blah, blah. But these people are still going to get other jobs. And whatever we think we are saving is going to still end up in their pockets. Another thing that is going to remain the same. Corruption is going to remain the same. And again, this is my feeling. If ministries are going to be merged, it means like 5 to 10 or more functions are going to be put under one person. What does that mean? Many Kenyans who are accessing these services under different ministry are going to be channeled to be directed towards one individual or one ministry. What does that mean? This being Kenya, where it is a country of kitu kidogo, it means corruption is just going to remain the same, but one person is going to oversight the corruption. One person is going to preside over corruption. So corruption is not going to end. It's going to remain the same. Maybe the bearers of this office are even going to benefit more, which is a very sad thing. The last thing I think is not going to change. Remember, these are just same individuals. These are person who, if say it is a reshuffle or a trimming of cabinet, yes, there will be a trimming. The Gen Zs and the millennials and the people demonstrating had said it's a total dissolvement, the total dissolution of cabinet, dissolve cabinet in totality. But I don't think the president is going to hit to this. So we are going to remain with the same people. Same monkeys in the same forest, only that the forest is going to be, the monkeys are going to be, the number of the monkeys are going to be cut down. So I feel like these people will still have the same energy, will still have the same zeal to perform, or they'll still be as lethargic as they have been, and work is not going to be done. So service delivery won't get any better. That is my feeling. I feel nothing is going to change. That is my 2 cents. I feel we are just going to have the same thing, unless now we have totally different people occupying these positions. Otherwise, it is a win for the people who've been demonstrating, whatever you've been agitating for. Yes, you wanted the president to give you a total, to adhere to a total dissolving of the cabinet, but as things look like, as things are unfolding, it is going to be a reshuffle and a trimming of the cabinet. So same monkeys, a reduction in number. Is work going to be different? No. So it's a sorry. For me, I'll say it's a sorry state in this state. But let's keep hoping for the best. Let's keep having the meaningful national discourse. And that is my 2 cents here on 2 cents with Preston. Kindly subscribe. Click the bell notification button so that you're the first time to get a new video whenever we upload it. Like, share, and comment. Adios.